Well, I'm going to do a review in a few seconds of a book that I really enjoyed, a mystery called An Unwanted Guest by Shari Lapena. But first, some exciting news. Life with Patty and myself have started a new collaboration called Thursday BookTube. And basically, it's an open collaboration. Every Thursday, tell us about your favorite book. I do novels and mysteries, and I think Patty does novels, but it's open season. Any book that's made you happy. Maybe it's a children's book. Maybe it's a cookbook. Maybe it's a coloring book. Any book which has made you happy, go for it. So just do your review, tag us, put the hashtag Thursday BookTube, and every Thursday we will have a new updated playlist. Be lots of books and lots of ideas for the winter. Because when it's winter, I don't get out. It's all about reading. So anyway, back to our regularly scheduled programming and An Unwanted Guest. This book I actually did not read on my electronic reader. I read it in an actual book form. It was given to me by a family member who said, this is a great light read. You're going to love it. So I sat down, and she was absolutely correct. It was a great light read. It was the sort of book that you can take on an airplane or just read, you know, in the doctor's office. You don't need like a lot of, it was very good without requiring like a lot of thinking. Some books you really get into and you have to, I guess, go into the depths with them, which is perfectly fine, but this is just a really great light mystery. So An Unwanted Guest opens up on a very snowy Friday afternoon. The first couple chapters, you meet all these different people. There's married couples, there's engaged couples, there's a single woman, there's a single man, there's just two friends come up together, just a disparate group of people, maybe 12 people altogether, 10 to 12 people, I'd say 12, all coming up. And they're all coming up to this remote hotel in the mountains for a little getaway. They all have their own reasons for the getaway, but what no one expected, including the hotel, was this last minute storm that is coming through. And as a result of this last minute storm, the hotel is now dealing with very little staffing, just the owner and his son, because nobody else can get up there or wanted to get up there. Everyone who is driven up there now cannot go anywhere else. They're kind of stuck at the hotel, and one person's car actually got stuck on the side of the road, and another guest had to pick them up, take them to the hotel. So her car is stuck on the side of the road a mile or two away from the hotel, and everyone's coming in. So far, so good. People come in. You know, the owner's doing the best they can to make everyone comfortable. They have an open bar. They serve some dinner. There's, you know, it's warm, it's pleasant, and it's kind of come down to, well, this is where we are. Let's make the most of it. The only drawback that they have at the hotel, some of the guests discover, is that the internet is not very good and sometimes doesn't work, which I can totally relate to, being that I also live in the mountains and the internet isn't very good and often doesn't work. So that was kind of a little annoyance for some of the guests, but everyone generally seems pleased with it. They're hunkering down, they've got plenty of food there, and the bar is well stocked. So all is well, everyone has a nice evening, they all go to their own rooms. Around 6 a.m. or so, 5:30, 6 a.m., somebody screams. And that's where the book really starts. And a body is found at the bottom of the stairs. And it's a woman's body, and nobody can figure out what happened, how she got down there, who did it. She did come with somebody else, and the other person is so upset and so distraught, you can't really visualize that that person would have been the one to push her, but there's always that little bit of suspicion from the other guests. How did this person end up at the bottom of the stairs? So that scream brings everyone out of their rooms to see what's going on, including the owners who are there on site. And they realize, once the first few moments of shock happens, they realize that the place is very cold and the storm has taken out the electric. So there's no electricity, no internet, and there's no way for police or anything to get up there. So they're there with the body, and that's when it all kind of starts rolling. The rest of the book goes through the weekend. It's kind of, they timestamp each chapter, like if somebody meets with somebody else, they timestamp that. So it's like it's like you follow it. Like at 5:30 in the morning, they found this body. At 6 a.m., everyone met for breakfast. At 6:30 a.m., somebody had a suspicion and talked to somebody else. So you're kind of with this crew during the whole, I guess, the next 36 hours. So they start grappling not only with this dead body, which they decide to leave in place and cover up because they want to leave the body where it was when it fell. So when the coroner comes, if the storm ever stops or the police come, they can start doing investigation of it. They want to leave the crime scene in place. So everyone is kind of suspecting the person who came with this woman. However, a few hours later, there's another dead body. And at that point, it's just all bets are off. And I'm not going to get into how many people end up dying or how they die. One of the interesting things about this book is that nobody at the hotel knows each other. I mean, a couple people who came together know each other, but the people who are dying don't seem to be connected to anybody else. It's not like a family reunion type mystery. Well, okay, the mother had something against the uncle or the sister had something against the brother. Nothing. It's just very, very random. So they go through the next, like I said, 36 hours or so with no internet and no electricity and nothing but the firelight to keep them going until power is restored and the snow stops and the police can get there. It was a very interesting book. Usually I can kind of figure out what's going on, had no clue. It was because the characters were so different from each other and the manner of dying was so different and who was alliancing with who. And then through the course of this book too, people start divulging secrets or certain things come out about people's lives, which are kind of surprising and sometimes a little appalling. But the book, that's part of the whole trajectory of the book. At the end, you find out who did it and why, and you think you've seen it all. And then literally the last paragraph, there's another huge twist and you have not seen it all. So I found the book to be just great. I loved it. The pace of the book was very good. The characters were greatly drawn and well rounded out. The mystery of it, the things that happened were unexpected and it really kept me sort of interested. It was not, again, a big heavy read. It was a fun read, but it was a good and very satisfying read. The only problem I had with the book, and that's because of my lifestyle and what I know, is how come the hotel was so poorly prepared for a power outage? I mean, if they are in the mountains and there's snow regularly, I don't understand why they didn't have any generators. I don't understand why they didn't have an emergency signal. You can get satellite emergency signals that are not dependent on the internet. So they didn't have that. At one point, everyone's running around with their cell phone flashlights on as they're trying to find people and figure out what's going on, and everyone's cell phone is starting to die. And did no one have a backup battery? I go nowhere without a backup battery. And then they had some oil lamps, and then they ran out of oil for the oil lamps. So that part of me was a little like, okay, if this is the way the hotel runs its business with no flashlights, no battery backups, no generators, then no wonder people were dying. But altogether, that's just me because I'm like a prepper here. So that was just the one thing that stood out to me. But if it hadn't been that way, we wouldn't have had that great mystery. And it was very good. It was very, very good. I highly recommend it. So I had my own little mystery in the house. I came back from a week-long trip to see my kids, and I could not find my e-reader, which I'm very dependent on. And I know I brought it home. It was in my package, in my suitcases, because I remember charging it here at the house. It completely disappeared. And you know how you can go through the motions like a million times, look at all the usual places, look at some of the unusual places, did not turn up. I was getting a little nervous because I love this thing. I do all my reading. So I thought to myself, this is a sign from the universe that instead of reading, I need to clean my house. Cleaned the house, dusted. I cleaned before I left, but I cleaned again, vacuumed, put everything away, unpacked, all the stuff I would not have done if I had had this. finally finished everything, and house looks fine. Laundry's done several days later. So I'll go back to one of the same places where I'd looked before like 300 times, and it was there. Was that the hand of the supernatural? I'm not sure, but my house is cleaner, my laundry's done, and I found my ebook. So happy reading. Please join us in this Thursday collaboration. Tag us, put the hashtag Thursday BookTube, and we'll be happy to just start a playlist which will give you plenty of things to read and look for at the library for now, however long we do this. Thank you so much for watching.